Hello, this is Brendanz Dystopia, a land of savagery, wickedness, and hypocrisy. Play the motherfucking intro! So, today we're going to talk about fate. Although I don't like the word fate, I myself believe in fate. I don't believe in free will, but I don't like using the word fate. I prefer the term determinism. You see, fate has this supernatural connotation, like, no matter how hard you try to do something, that something else that's already been determined is going to happen no matter what, and that it's all in control and God's controlling it. I don't believe that. I don't believe in a God in the first place, but I believe that everything's already been predetermined, and everything's going to happen a certain way no matter what. I'm going to describe why I think this, but the idea that everything's already determined is really scary, so I'm also going to kind of give some perspective on this, try to make it a little bit less scary. But this is a huge part of my worldview, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So first of all, most people who, even if they believe in free will, believe in something called physical determinism. That if not for human interference, that all the physical forces in the universe the path that they take would already be predetermined. The reason being is that if a force hits this pencil is going to move a certain way no matter what. And if you just leave a universe alone with no people and just full of physical forces, this pen could hit this pencil and this pencil could hit this book, and it's not going to be like, if it were to turn out exactly the same way and this pen hit this pencil exactly the same way, this pencil's not going to go up in the air. It's going to go here and hit this book. But yeah. So most people would agree with me here, but they don't agree that people's actions are already predetermined. But is that a piece of dog poop? Oh no, that's just 1 second. This is just a carbon dioxide cartridge for my airsoft, whatever. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to pick up some dog poop before filming this video. But what was I talking about? Yeah, but most people would agree that the universe or the physical universe is already predetermined, but most people wouldn't agree that people's actions are predetermined. But think of it this way. We're constantly being guided by forces in our minds, desires. Everything has a cause and effect. For example, if I'm laying down, but I'm hungry and want to eat food, what determines whether I get up and eat food? Is it, well, the answer is if the desire to eat food is stronger than the desire to lay down. If I'm laying down and I'm tired and I want to eat food, the thing that determines whether I get up is whether my desire to eat food is stronger than how tired I am. If I'm more tired than I am hungry, that I'm going to lay down. And people are like, well, that's fine and good, but, 1 second, sorry. But what if the person's not more hungry than they are tired, and they still get up, and they eat food? Well, to that, I would say that either the situation's impossible, or there was another force at play. Maybe a giant tiger went up to them and was like, "Rah! Rah!" And the guy was like, "Oh shit! I'm getting up even though I'm really tired." Which, in that case, if there was another force, why was the person getting up and eating food? They would get up, but they wouldn't go eat food. I mean, especially if it's a fucking tiger. Someone may ask, well, what if two forces in your mind are equal? What if I'm, just as... Sorry. What if I'm equally as tired as I am hungry? What if there's two equal forces fighting against each other? Well, I would say that the force that ends up becoming stronger overcomes the weaker force in your mind. But if it doesn't, then nothing happens. They both cancel each other out. You just do nothing. You're undecided. Now, I have a bit of a personal relationship with the concept of fate and whatnot. But these are the reasons I believe in fate. But I have a bit of a personal relationship with it. So, like, I used to be a really depressed, angsty teen when I was beginning puberty. And I know that's fucking gross. You don't want to hear about that. That's not what I meant. When I began as a teen, I used to be really angsty, and, my hand is itchy. I trimmed my nails so I can't scratch my damn hand. But yeah, I used to watch The Matrix, and Neo was, like, this guy who was, like, trying to be free from the Matrix, and he would talk to the Oracle. And I was always puzzled how the Oracle could predict the future. And it's because she kind of lives in a social construct of the Matrix where everyone's actions are controlled, and she predicts all the outcomes and whatnot. That's not the reason in the movie. Obviously, it was like some, I don't know, but I imagined my life like that. I kind of imagined, oh, there's all these factors playing into it. But anyways, my philosophical arguments for determinism may scare you. But I'm going to try to make sure that it doesn't. When you give someone an idea, people often say, I want to look for truth even if it scares me. And then you give them an idea that's true and it scares them. Or even if I don't like it and it scares them. But here's why it shouldn't scare you. Number one, everything happens for a reason. Determinism is just a natural part of cause and effect. We live in a scientific universe where forces affect things. And think of it like this. You know how a person, or even yourself, does something really horrible, but you still feel like you were right, like you try to justify it? There was a reason. There was a reason you did those things, you think. I don't like what I did now, but there was a reason. I'm not a scumbag. Well, there is a reason. The causes, the forces in your mind. You were destined to do the thing. The situation at the moment is what caused that. Think of it like this. If you were to live my life with all the different circumstances in my life, and, sorry, God, I hate being itchy. That's why I keep these fucking pencils. There we go. If you were to live in my body, with the circumstances of my life, with my emotions, you would do the exact same things that I have, and vice versa. If I lived your life with your body and your emotions, I'd do the exact same things that you did. But, yeah. Now, you may be thinking my ideas about fate are a bit irrational after I brought up how I used to be a depressed, angsty teen who believed in fate and watched The Matrix, but I'm just being open and honest about the emotional aspect, because people pretend that they're cold and philosophical and calculating, and there's often a lot of circumstances behind their beliefs. However, I got past my phase, and I tried looking at the idea of fate rationally, and basically that it turned out to be true. I couldn't disprove it. But I wanna take a look at a bigger picture. The idea of recurrence. Now, this may sound crazy. I mean, especially for an atheist who thinks it's very true that when you die that there's nothing. I think there's a 50% chance that, and not all the parts of this idea make sense to me, but there were a bunch of reasons I believed this. And some of it started not to make sense, and I'm not sure, but I think there's a 50% chance that when you die, you repeat your life again, and that you repeat it exactly the same way, and you constantly repeat it. Nietzsche, a philosopher known as Nietzsche, talked about this idea. He didn't literally believe it. He was using it to make a point about how we should live our lives. But here's the quote. I'm going to pull up the document I've been using to keep track of my main points. The greatest weight. What if someday or night a demon were to steal after you into your loneliest loneliness and say unto you, this life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence. Even this spider and this moonlight between the trees, and even this moment, and I myself, the eternal hourglass of existence, is turned upside down, again and again, and you with it, speck of dust. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or, how well disposed would you have to become to yourself and to life to crave nothing more and fervently than this ultimate eternal confirmation and seal? I don't think that's a good response. Shoot, I pulled up another app. I was trying to pull up my camera. I don't think that's a good response. I think that as the human species, we should try to rebel against the forces that created us. There's recurrence. It's inevitable. In fact, one second, sorry. In fact, it may be recurrence which causes the creation of the universe. Who cares? As a species, it is our duty to rebel against the forces that created us. I think fate is okay as long as it gives us the chance, if we were in the proper circumstances, to try to stop our own deaths using science, using technology that helps us to live forever. But the problem is that there's theories that when the big crunch happens, that time will repeat itself. I think that there's a 50% chance this is true, and I'll get into why in a minute. But, But the point is learning how to embrace pain. How would you live if you knew you were going to repeat your life over and over and over again? If you had to live your life over again, how would you live? Would you be doing the things you hate every day, or would you try to do something that you love instead? How would you view suffering? Would you learn to embrace pain, become stronger with your pain? Or would you still shy away from it, knowing that you're damned to repeat your most painful moments over and over again? But now I want to get into some of my ideas on how to stop recurrence, which, by the way, is time repeating. So, the problem with recurrence is that it's already happened. We're destined to recur. If we were to time travel in the future and see it, it's basically already happened. It's inevitable. But what if I told you that stopping recurrence has already happened too? What if we were to try to create an alternative timeline where basically the Big Crunch, which is the opposite of the Big Bang, it's when the universe collapses on itself, is happening, and we're like, oh no, we gotta stop the Big Crunch from happening. And we do all the right calculations, and it doesn't work, and we get sucked into the Big Crunch, and we're like, ah! Yow! But there's an alternate dimension where we didn't get sucked into the Big Crunch, an alternate timeline, and where recurrence didn't happen. So time may be like a circle, but there's a little line coming off of it, an equation for an eternal amount of time, similar to pi. My friend joked about this alternate timeline where you're trying to figure out if you're the timeline that gets sucked into the Big Crunch, or if you're the timeline that, gets to live. And he was like, you're thinking that the Big Crunch is gonna get stopped, and then you're about to get sucked into the Big Crunch, and you're like, oh shit! We're the timeline that gets sucked into the Big Crunch. But I think what would happen, this is just a hypothetical crazy idea I had, is that you get sucked into the Big Crunch, and then you wake up in the alternate timeline, and all the people who failed to survive up until that point have to repeat their lives, but you wake up, and you're in the alternate timeline, the moment when time split, right as the Big Crunch was happening. Ooh, this looks like a fucking vagina. Sorry, it's like an ADHD kid. Ooh, butterfly. Speaking of that, being an ADHD kid, God, I just forgot the proof for, or not the proof, why I think it's possible that time repeats itself. You see, the Big Bang is a proven scientific theory. The Big Crunch is not. It's hypothetical. People are unsure about what's going to happen. Also, there's a hypothesis about what the shape of time is. Is time a ball? Is it a finite thing? Is it infinite? Is it finite and not a ball? And similarly with time, there's a theory that if you keep traveling, or similarly with space, if you keep traveling forward in space, will you eventually get to the part you started in? Or is space infinite and eventually you reach the part with nothing in it and it's empty? Well, up until the ever-expanding, stretching out universe reaches it. Some people think that space is like a ball, And when you travel forward, eventually you're really traveling in a circle, and eventually you'll get back to the place you started, similar to traveling in Earth. But all this correlates somehow with the Big Crunch, and whether the Big Crunch will happen, or whether the universe will keep expanding, or whether it'll stop. So yeah, there's theories that basically time is like a ball, and when you reach the end of it, that you repeat it again. So, yeah, I mean, and it happened, and from what I gather, I don't think they've said this, but it happens after the Big Crunch, and then the Big Bang happens again. I mean, think about it. The Big Bang, the universe is made of space and time. The Big Bang is when this tiny, infinitely small ball expands, and then it's crunching. You don't think that has an effect on space-time? I beg to differ, damn it. I think it does. But, again, I didn't fully understand this book. I may have misquoted this concept. If you want to understand it for yourself, you should read the book A Brief History of Time. This is where I got all this from. But anyways, that's all I have to talk about for today. I hope I did a little bit of a better job on this video than I did in the previous one. I mean, vlogging-wise. You know, I tried to put in a theme song, so this video wouldn't suck. I hope I wasn't just, like, rambling on. I tried to be more... I tried to be more expressive and stuff. But anyways, I want to make this channel more successful. Don't tune out. Don't fucking tune out. I want to make this channel more successful. I want to make more money. To do that, I need a larger fan base. I need more people to participate. I need subscribers. So, make sure to subscribe. Peace out, motherfuckers.